Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Apologies for the delay there. We did have some issues with an individual driver's game who crashed, and they couldn't unfortunately rejoin to take part in the race. So, providing that the same thing doesn't happen again, we will be getting back underway with this Grand Prix. Now, Jess, I'm going to give you the opportunity to revise your podium prediction. Would you like to stick with the same honour?
I'm going to have to... I don't know, because due to the fact there's a lobby restart, everyone will be on fresh tyres, so I am gonna swap around, and I'm gonna put Nick Turn P1, Yawn P2, and Martin G P3.
I mean, Martin G is going to have to really push hard because he's a lot further down than we normally see him, to be truthfully honest. It's looking like Martin G is actually really out of his comfort zone on this track. I don't know if he just struggles with street tracks or if it's just Baku specifically, but we are going to be getting underway now with the formation lap. Here we go. So, for my prediction, obviously we've got Nick Turn and Falsetti that are on those soft compound tyre, which is fabulous. It's good to see, and I'm hoping to see them be able to carry that through and do a one-stop. Now that they have the fresh tyres as well, like you're saying, it does mean that they can really push themselves to do a one-stop a little bit easier. They do gain that extra lap out of them. However, the tyres do still disintegrate on this track, and hards are really slippy in Baku. They take a good 2 laps at least to properly warm up. And so have that being said, I mean, a lot of these drivers will still be going from mediums to hards anyway, just means that they won't have to go so far on the hards when they do the one-stop from mediums to hards, whereas the softs will have to do that. With that in mind, I actually think we're not going to see the usual suspects in the top 3. I'm actually going to go very out of character here, and I'm going to go Buemels P1.
Nice.
I'm going to go Yon P2, and I think we're actually going to see Copy take 3rd place today.
I know Copy is good at race pace, so I understand why you would choose him. So, very good predictions there, and very different ones as well. So, I wonder if any one of us is going to be right this race. I wasn't right in qualifying. Hopefully, no. I could redeem myself, but that's probably not going to happen, as everyone is warming their tyres now. And just a reminder, for the bottom half, we've got Yeltec, Gooby, Hazard, Rainbow and Brownlee on the hards, and Shadows and Dust and Mizza on the medium, so that's what they've chosen. And the top 10, they're not going to get away with choosing different tyres. The stewards are looking into their tyre choices, and they have to make the same tyre choices as they set their fastest lap on. So there's no getting away for the top 10.
And you being one of the stewards, it means you can literally see this firsthand, so you know exactly what they're doing. And that obviously plays a factor to it. Oh, I forgot for a second there that they were AI controlled now and gone ghost, and I thought Falsetti was going to drive straight into the side of Yon, but never mind, it's all good. Disaster averted. We're about to get underway with this Grand Prix. We are waiting for them to get into their grid boxes. They've already chosen their strategy. They've already chosen the amount of fuel that they're going to be carrying with them throughout. Now, something to keep an eye out is Nickton usually runs yellow fuel warning light on. So he usually runs just on the limit for the amount of fuel that he can take into the race. Whether or not he's going to try that with the fact that he's on the softs, because he really needs to be pulling away with the fact that he's on them, he has to fully utilize that extra grip, especially on this start now. As the lights are on, we are about to get underway with the Baku Grand Prix here in the Rwagnation League, and immediately we're seeing Nickton get away to a beautiful start. Yon's already alongside Falsetti. Falsetti's getting swamped here as Yon is trying to go around the outside. He has to back out. Big contact further downfield. That's Copy. He's lost control of the car. He's now dead last. No further incidents have been made on that turn 1. We are seeing more cars going around each other. Big contact there. Hazard has been caught up by Rainbow. Rainbow's just trying to get through this. There's nothing more that can happen here. Copy has managed to regain those 2 places. So 15th is where Copy ends up being after the start of the first lap. Martin G and Beaker, they are also squad throughout as we come into turn 3. This is usual lap 1 sort of territory here when it comes to these kind of lobbies, and we are still seeing Martin G and Beaker going side by side now through 5 and 6, and it's going to be Beaker against them wide. Oh, I think he kept himself just out of the wall there, but there might be some damage on that Ferrari.
Yes, which is very unfortunate, but look at what Yeltek's just done. Yeltek has had a massive send and was able to gain not 1 but 2 positions from that. which has really helped him in the first lap, which is really going to help him. So he's up into P8 for now, and he's not that far behind Martin G, and Rainbow, I think, has been caught up in a little incident at the back as well. So he's struggling, and he's been at the exact same place as Kubica and Leclerc, I think, but he's got away a little bit easier than them, but I don't think that's going to be very good with the car. But we can see Bremels and Falsetti going to be almost side by side going into the start of Sector 3 then. What are going to rely on this slipstream at the moment. If it was DRS, it'll be even more powerful. Rainbow is out of the session, but let's follow Falsetti and Bremels going towards the long straight going into Sector 3. It is very long, one of the longest straights going into Turn 1. We'll just have to wait and see. Falsetti holds on to the inside line. We got Bremels on the outside. Not touching. Bremels almost going off the circuit. They're managing to keep it clean. And going into the start of Turn 2 and 3, Falsetti manages to get together and hold on only just. But Bremels he's hungry to have another look. He's on the medium tyres, so it'll probably help him just a little bit more. Is he going to get the outside this time? Oh, they touch again. Oh. But we got Zerd and Yawn into this battle as well. This is getting very tasty in the midfield.
There's two battles going on as well, because this battle going on here for P2, and there's also a battle further downfield for the final points position between Just Chillin, Beaker and Yoltek. They are scrapping really hard all the way through. You can see Yoltek is actually the head of these three. Beaker's managed to make his work done on Just Chillin. Zed is really scrapping there with Buemos as well, and it's not really changing anything further than that. We are now through the castle section, so there's going to be no changes in position, but we are going to be sizing ourselves up ready for the home straight sprint, and no DRS this lap. We're going to have to wait for the rest of this to be completed before we see any antics going down towards Turn 3.
Yes, and DRS is very powerful, so looking forward to seeing that, but they won't get activated until the start of Turn 2 and 3, so they won't be able to use it in the DRS straight, unfortunately, as the activation zone. As we're still seeing some really huge scraps already, going a little bit ambitious there. We have got, I think, Bremels and Zerd still fighting as well up front, and also Bremels and Falsetti as well, as Bremels is going to have another go at Falsetti going into the start-finish straight, but this time he's going to go to the inside line. He thought that the outside line wasn't going to work out for him, but he thinks the inside line will be better, and he's not. He's still behind Falsetti, and he's got Zerd for company as well. He's got to make a move, because otherwise Zerd can catch him at any minute, and Yawn is also waiting for the opportunity to pounce like a hawk to see if he can make any jumps and say a see you later to everybody else. Oh, that was huge contact from Bremels and Zerd. And Martin G almost caught into that, but he managed to avoid that very well. But I don't know, I think Bremels and Zerd got a few damage from that, as I do believe Bremels is still on the back of Martin G though, but that's going to cost him some time on the mediums. But Falsetti has got a bit of breathing space, not a lot, because Yawn has still got DRS. Actually, no, he's run out of DRS as well, so Falsetti's definitely got some breathing space right now, but that was close to say the least.
Yeah, it really was. I thought there was going to be a massive car pile up there, but no. Somehow, Buemos and Zerd, yes, they have contact, yes, they have rotations, but neither of them got damage. Even Zerd, who ended up punting into the back of Buemos' car. It was nothing more than just a mistake that was made from Zerd. He locked up on the brakes, couldn't do any further than that. Obviously, we'll see if the stewards need to intervene in that or not. But yeah, looking at the rest of the situation on the track, Yawn has really brought himself back up into the mix. He was the fastest runner on the medium compound tyres, and he's already on the back of Falsetti. Race leader Nick Turn is 6.3 seconds clear of P2, but Falsetti has done an exceptional job of defending, and now Yawn is really committed to getting past him. He's actually got his full car ahead. It's whether or not Falsetti can bring himself back into this mix. As we look further down the field, you can also see that Buemos is right there with Martin G. He ends up going around the outside of him. He's going to have to do the exact same thing going through Turn 2, and Buemos actually played that smart. He broke a little bit early just to make sure he got DRS here, so he can just slingshot round Turn 2, and nothing further that Martin G can do here except pray that his car is faster. And looking right now, it doesn't seem to be that way. And Buemos has been released. He's now up in a P5. And Yawn has managed to make work of Falsetti and kept it together in P2.
Yawn doing very well to try and keep those mediums to the level. And he's now the highest medium runner still after 4 laps, which just goes to show how true his pace is. but Nick Turn is really benefiting from the lobby restart. He's already pulling away 6/10 for Gap, and Martin G and Zerd still fighting as teammates as well. And I wonder if team orders will come into play. Probably not, as it is early stages of the season. But I know the Mercedes team would want both cars to make it to the end of the race. So strategy will possibly come into play here for both of the Mercedes cars if they want to try and get past Bremelt up into P5.
Indeed. So the stewards have been in touch. They've informed us that lap 3, turn 3, the contact you saw between Zerd and Buemels is under investigation from the stewards. We'll see if there is going to be any sort of involvement on that, if there's going to be a penalty or not. Falsetti's in trouble here. Yonti's really got some pace. He's already going to catch up to him as we come towards the DRS zone, and that's a position gain for Yonti. Falsetti is doing well to stay where he is, but he is looking like he's coming into the pits. He knows these softs are done. It's interesting that he's decided to do it on lap 4, and Nick Turn is still out there and still going strong. And very much on an island of his own. Yeah, and he's still pulling away.
Yes, I wonder if Falsetti, due to that battling, was able to struggle a little bit more, because if you're not battling, you're able to save your tyres, and that's what Nick Turn's done. Nick Turn had a very good start, and he's able to pull away, save his tyres, and that's going to really benefit him for his second stint, whereas Falsetti was pretty much battling from the word go. So, and he must be on rich mix as well, and from experience, rich mix and soft tyres do not mix, and they make you burn your tyres incredibly quickly.
Yeah, they really don't help the situation, especially on this track, which is a track that has a lot of demand from the tyres overall. Falsetti has unfortunately left the session. I think that might be a game issue. We'll hopefully get to see him join back very shortly. The one thing to keep an eye out for is actually Yoltek, who is currently sat P8. Remember, we did say earlier he's had a lot of places gained. He's gained 3 places, and that's great stuff to see him up there in P8. However, he is on the hard compound tyre, and he's on the back of Beaker as it stands. When it comes to the home straight, he will be in a position where he can pass. Now, something else to note, the stewards have been in touch and said a 5-second time penalty for Zerd for causing a collision between Buemels and him will be added to the end of his race. I think that's fair. I think it's just. He did break up quite a lot later, ended up locking up, made a big mistake, and that cost Buemels a lot of places. It is all fair in love and racing, and here is Yoltek sizing up his attack with Mizzo breathing down his neck.
Yeah, Mizzo is going to have the DRS, whereas Yoltek is going to have a bit of DRS as well. But Mizzo has just got the better straight line speed. He's going at 213 miles an hour, and he is going to go past into turn 1. Almost a bit of touching again from Yoltek and Mizzo, but they managed to keep it on the track. They can see Beaker right in front as well, but Beaker is starting to pull away ever so slightly as well. And we could have also just Chinin going to the mix as well, but he is running on 3rd ERS mode at the moment, so I think he's just keeping up the pace until he can start to catch up to these guys. But Yoltek still keeping it together to make sure he can size Mizzo and overtake at the best opportunity and not be too aggressive or too ambitious just yet.
Yeah, indeed. Zerd still on the back of Buemels. Yes, that 5-second penalty will be added to the end of his race. However, that doesn't stop him from going for an attack on Buemels at any point in this race. There's a lot of battles still going on as well, as Gooby's actually scrapping with Brownie. Remember, Brownie also had a qualifying ban, so he started in second to last place with Mizzo starting dead last. Mizzo has had the start that he really needed to be able to deliver and get some solid points for his team and himself in the Drivers' Championship. He's now up into 8th place from, like I said, dead last. So it's good. He's still pushing. He's still closing in on Beaker. Yoltek ended up losing that place to him in the end. But remember, Yoltek on the hard compound tyre more than likely will have also filled his car up a little bit more than usual for the fuel as well to help him push. When he gets onto those medium tyres, he can really chuck down the rich mix on those straights. And we know that they're long, so there's going to be tons of slipstreaming opportunities for him. He needs to make sure he has the best car than anyone else on the track.
And in Baku, downforce is really key. So if you don't get the straight line speed going into turn 1, that's really going to compromise you for pretty much the start of the lap, really. So that is what these guys need to consider. As we're starting to see that Nick Turn may start to struggle a little bit in the next few laps, but he doesn't seem to be, as he's already gained another second on Yorn. So Nick Turn is probably going to stretch those tyres as long as a medium tyre would if he keeps this up, which is going to be absolutely incredible for him, as the hard tyres, they last quite a long time on this track. And I wonder if Nick Turn is going to push his hard tyres to the limit. And if he's able to pull up a gap between him and Jorn when he gets to the second stint, he could go try for a 2-stop and he could do the softs. But it is really entirely up to him to make sure that he gets that strategy working and gets the hard tyres fitted to his car very quickly, get his pit stop now just on, and see what Jorn does as we get into the later stages, as Jorn will be pitting probably a few laps later, as Jorn is struggling a little bit more than Nick Turn is at the moment. A little bit of weaving there in sector 2 right now.
Yeah, I'm actually watching Zerd and Wemmel's gap. It's actually getting larger and larger. Wemmels is slowly but surely pulling away from Zerd. Zerd is not particularly doing well to be able to keep himself in this battle. He's now outside of DRS range. He's just crept himself back into it again now. 9/10 of a second separate the two. Can he hold that when we come to the detection line? If he can, brilliant. He'll be able to use the DRS to close back up onto Wemmels. Not necessarily overtake him because he's just way too far back for that. Someone who isn't too far back is this man here, Jonty. Breathing down the back of Jorn now. Jorn is going to be a sitting duck as Jonty's carrying so much pace down the home straight. Coming up into turn 1, he's definitely going to be on the racing line, feeling very comfortable. Whereas Jorn now will have DRS in the run up towards turn 3. It's just all about the exit of this corner. If he can get the perfect exit, which he hasn't, then he would have been able to attack Jonty, but Jonty's done exactly what is required in order for him to hold on to that position. So really well done there from Jonty.
Quite a surprise from Jonty. I wasn't expecting him to be in the top 3 this early on, but it just goes to show that he's good on race pace and he's able to overtake well on this track. And maybe some people are suited to street circuits a bit more, so we could see him do well in places like Russia, Monaco and Singapore as well. So if Jonty keeps this up, he's going to like those tracks coming up, in particular Monaco, which will be, I think, in about 2 rounds time, well, a round after Spain. So he's going to love that, and he's absolutely flying. But Jorn is still on the back of Jonty, so it is not over yet. And I've just noticed that the gap between Nick Turn and Jonty has dropped down to 6.6 seconds. So Nick Turn, I do believe, will be going to the pits pretty shortly. Otherwise, he's going to lose quite a bit of time to Jonty.
Yeah, those softs are really starting to fall apart now. And I think the fact that he's pushed them this far in the first place, that's just kind of an indicator that he's taken them quite far. He has built up a really good, solid gap, though. It's now just a question of, when he pits, will he be able to manage the 6.2 second gap that he's got? How many laps can these mediums push themselves? Has he taken these softs too far, where he's actually lost way more time than he actually originally anticipated? Because if he has, he's in trouble. He has now chucked himself into the pits. The race leader is in. It's a long way down to the end of the pit lane, as Nick Turn in the Williams will be right over at the other side. Is he going to go for the hards? Yeah, he is. He's going straight to the hards. So one-stop strategy is what Nick Turn is trying to do, and that was a very quick pit stop. It might actually have helped him just about enough to be able to stay within the top 10. There's his teammate coming up behind him. I think these guys work really well together. There's no doubt about that. As Copy's made a mistake. He's just ran too far wide in the run up to turn 2. So he's lost the place to Brownie, and he's lost another place to Gooby. That is not good stuff at all for them two.
No, it is not. Copy, we thought he was going to gain positions, and he's down in 13th. I think he'll probably have to wait till the next pit stop to see if he'll get any effect. Unfortunately, I didn't see that myself, so I didn't see what caused that incident, but hopefully he can recover for the next part of the race. Now, the pit stop in Baku, I think Nick Turn is going to be just about enough to make sure he still gains the lead from the guys in front, which is just what he needs, as long as he doesn't lose any time. But I think he's going to be alright, because Jorn and Jonty are still battling hard, and I mean hard, for the battle of the lead on track, which just goes to show that these two are definitely the dark horses of this Baku race so far. So this is going to get very exciting. Will both of them pit at the same time? We will see soon.
Yeah, Jorn is just, and I mean literally just on the limit for DRS. I think he's already passed the detection zone. Oh, that was it there. I think he might have actually missed out on DRS.
Bremmel's right behind. Bremmel's is right behind as well. Jorn's going to lose another position, but Bremmel's almost hit the wall. Bremmel's is going to take the inside, and surely Bremmel's is going to get P2 from Jorn. Maybe not. Jorn defends that nicely. Again, almost off the track. Bremmel's getting a better exit going into turn 3, but Jorn is going to have DRS going into that entry. So it is going to be insanely close. Zerd is in the pits. He's going onto the hard tyres, and then one else is pitting
Oh.
Just yet. He's gonna get the inside line again. And he's done it this time. He still holds on to P2. My oh my, that was close. I think Bremel's caught Jorn napping, but Jorn has responded to that and woke himself up and still battling really hard.
Yeah, he has done a really good job to pull himself back into P2, especially in the crucial area of the track. If you release Bremel's will take off. He is absolutely flying at the minute to get himself back up into this running for the race win, remember. This is now an opportunity that he cannot afford to pass up. And so Jorn holding Bremel's back does obviously give a lot of benefit to Jorn, and they kept it so clean throughout the entirety of that battle. Jonty has managed to gain the additional second that he... So remember, when we saw the detection line, Jorn was a second behind Jonty just about. Now, after a few corners, we saw Jorn fall back to 2.3 seconds being the gap between the two of them, and now Jonty is comfortably ahead and doesn't have to worry about DRS. Jorn, however, has managed to really chuck in some pace. He's now brought himself just on the limit of the DRS gap between him and Bremel's. Is Bremel's going to be able to get the DRS? I think the detection line's there. He's outside of it, which means he will not have DRS to attack Jorn. Jorn delivered exceptional pace in that final sector, and now you're seeing Jorn start to break that gap between him and Bremel's.
Yeah, he's picked up the pace a little bit. He doesn't want to be caught napping, really. And whilst the battling was still going on, I'm not sure if it's going to affect the race, but Nick Turner's just received a 3-second in-game penalty, so I think it must have been corner cutting. So if he's not able to pull that gap as he needs, the race win could be threatened by him. But we'll have to wait and see. He's probably good at pulling up the gap anyway. But you never know with Nick Turn. We could have Jonty and Jorn possibly battling with him as well. So this could cost him. We haven't seen what caused that penalty, but he's got an in-game penalty anyway. So only time will tell what's going to happen. But Forseti and Martin G are still having a little bit of a scrap as well. So we're still having battles pretty much everywhere this race, with a few people still yet to pit.
Do you think we're actually going to get an opportunity to breathe in this race? Because it's just been non-stop attack action.
Insane.
I'm loving to see the way that they're overtaking in every area of the track. Areas I didn't think was even possible. Like right now, Martin G is sizing up Forseti. Forseti's having to go defensive in towards turn 5. It does mean he's going to have a better line going through turn 6. Whereas Martin G now has a better exit through the corner. So Forseti's really trying to hold him back there. Again, going defensive. Nowhere for Martin G to go. He's having to be given a big wobble. And actually Forseti makes a mistake. Here comes Martin G now in towards Castle. He's got the position gained, and Martin G really baited Forseti there into that position. Martin G benefited massively from that. He's been released now in towards to P12, sorry, and he's going to have to really start pushing if he wants to bring himself back up into the top 10.
It is a shame for Forseti. He is starting to struggle. He was in P2 of the race, and now he's pretty much dead last, which is a bit of a shame. And I do see a Mercedes slowing down. That might be Martin G. No, but I think he's back on the track, so it's all right. We've got Jonty, Bremel's and Mizzo in the pits then. So we have to wait and see how they come up behind Nick Turn. I think Nick Turn goes ahead of these guys. So Nick Turn is going to be comfortably in the lead there. But Jorn stays out. Is that what he wants to do? Or does he want to make sure he challenges for the win? I don't know. I haven't seen how powerful the undercut might be there, but it might be very powerful for Nick Turn. So probably Nick Turn's made the right decision going when he did, but obviously the mediums do last a bit longer than the softs, but we'll have to wait and see as Martin G's out. Oh, what's happened there?
Well, he's just retired from the set. He drove
probably
into the pit lane.
Probably the pit.
He drove in. Oh, I'm watching him. He's driven into the pit lane and just retired immediately in the pit lane. I'm not sure why. He didn't have any issues. His wing was fully intact. He decided to then get it repaired. Interesting. I would love to hear from him to understand what it was that made him want to retire from the session or not. However, he is out. He is in P16. And so no points will be gained for Mercedes, at least from Martin G's side of things. We are, however, seeing Zerd there in P8. So still some points on the table. The one person I want everyone to pay very firm attention to is my prediction of Yoltek, remember. I did put him in the top 3. And he is currently still on the same ties he started the race with. But he will be transitioning from the hards to the mediums, and when he does, he will be absolutely flying. If he does stay in the mediums, I think he should. I don't think he should try and push the hards to go into the softs. I think he'd be making a big mistake if he did. However, I can only wait and see what his plan is going to be, whereas race leader now Jorn is in the pits, and at nick turn will resume race lead again.
Yep, there we go then. So Nick Turn got the undercut right, and there must have been something that was going on, I think, between Beaker and Falsetti, as Falsetti's lost his front wing, and he's going to go into the pits after that. So didn't quite catch the incident. Hopefully they got their POVs to show later, but that was very unfortunate for Falsetti there, as he's got to change his front wing and dive it into the pits for another stop. I'm not sure what tire he's going to go on. He might be forced to go onto another set of hards, or might go on to get mediums and then softs again. You never know. And he goes on to a set of mediums. Ooh, I wonder if that's going to get to the end of the race. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's going to easily make it to the end of the race on the mediums. It's just, how hard is he going to push now? Is he going to push himself into an oblivion? Is he going to push so hard that he's going to either destroy the tires and then eventually destroy his entire race? I mean, it'd be really sad because he's, like I say, he started in P2. He had a really good qualifying session. It just didn't work out when it came down to the race. He was fine on the stop, and there was contact, and he's lost his wing, and now he had to pit again, and that one pit stop alone just cost him. He's right down there in 15th place with a 13.5 second gap to the two drivers ahead of him. And yeah, they are yet to pit, but still, it's not looking good if you're in his position.
Yeah, which is a shame for Falsetti, but hopefully he can recover. But meanwhile, we still got more battles and scraps right now. At the moment, this is shaping up to be pretty much a really good end to this race, a good second stint, as we got the other McLaren of Mizzo right on the back of Bremels once again. I think Bremels has been in battles all the time, and also Bremels is also chasing Gooby. I'm going to see, I think Bremels is closing up to Gooby more than Mizzo is catching up to Bremels as well. Jorn and Brownie's going into the pits as well. But let's watch Bremels and Gooby. It's going to be almost free wide going into turn one. This is going to be mighty. Who's going to gain advantage this time? It's going to be Mizzo, who gets a double overtake on both of them, both Bremels and Gooby. So,
oh, Zed.
Oh no, what happened to Zed?
Zed locked up massively going in towards turn 2, and he just ran into the runoff area. There was nothing he could do there, and he loses 3 places just from that one mistake, because all 3 of these drivers are so close together. But Mizzo, with the incredible DRS slipstream overtake on both drivers, manages to get down the inside in towards turn 1. There was nothing either of them could do about it, is trying to defend him. So Mizzo up now into P5. Good stuff from him. Hazard is coming to the pit, so that means that Falsetti's claimed a place as a result of that. And now we are going to be seeing Gooby falling away a fair bit. Those 13 lap all hards are not working out for him. Buemels is right here on the back of Mizzo. Mizzo now going to be feeling the pressure coming from that Renault. And remember, Renault nowadays, they have the 1,000 brake horsepower. It does mean that on the home straight, they should be faster. Although in this game, they're on equal performance.
Yeah, imagine what they'll be like in real life. But some interesting notes to tell you about how many positions people have gained so far. Mizzo's gained the most on 12. So Mizzo, we do know Mizzo is very good, better in the race than in qualifying. We did see it in the Rwagnation League last year as well. We've seen the case of that as well. So I'm not really that surprised, but I thought he would do worse in Baku. But tonight, he's absolutely flying, and he's able to challenge Bremels, which is good to see. But we got Yeltek into the pits then, and he's hit the pit. Whoa, okay. So
Buemels is coming. Buemels is past him. Mizzo now is not able to do anything about the fact that Buemels has just gone straight on past him. Actually, Mizzo may have actually broke a little bit too late there. No, he kept
yeah, he did.
Actually fine. So Buemels is up now into P4. Very simple, very easy overtake. Nothing too severe to worry about there. Want to check at Yoltek's situation. He is stuck in the pits, and his teammate's right there behind him. He's now in, and there's
P11.
Another wing there for him as well.
Yep, he's in P11, so he's going to be outside the points. So probably if he didn't hit the wall there, he might have gained a few more positions, but we will never know. And it is a bit of a shame unless other people make mistakes around him. But technically, he hasn't dropped any positions, because obviously he started P11 and he is P11 at the moment. So if he gains any more, then that will still be not bad result. But knowing him, he wants those points.
Yeah, he wants that good result. He deserves that good result. He's really fast. We just made that one mistake. To have such a flawless race up until that one point. That's what makes F1 so entertaining, right? You make one slight mistake and you're going to damage your wing or whatever on a track like this. You can't just ride it out and just carry on doing as you were. that will cost you a lot of time. So he had to check, even he was in the pits anyway when he did the damage. So which is obviously the best situation to be in if you're going to have damage on your car. But it just means then he's going to fall back to where he was before, and now the charge is on. All the good news for him, though, is that all of the drivers in front of him are actually pretty close together, except when you get to the top of all. That's when you start to see the gaps really start to form. Speaking of gaps, Boemels has managed to break the DRS range of Mizzo, so Mizzo now is not going to be able to use that to close himself back in on Boemels, and Boemels is going to be able to just keep on driving hard and driving away.
Yeah, Boemels has definitely shined so far, and so is Mizzo, and two definitely contenders of driver of the day. And I think Yeltek and Copy are fighting again. I think Yeltek managed to get past Copy in the start-finish straight then, and he's now up into the points now. So he's now going to try and catch Brownie, which is 1.1 seconds behind him. So he's almost in DRS range. Can he get into DRS range soon? He's on fresher tyres and softer tyres as well. So he's going to catch up very quickly indeed to the Ferrari of Brownie. So I wonder what's going to happen here. He's just got so much great corner speed and he's committing as well. So this is the Yeltek that we really want to see deliver, and he is starting to deliver towards the end. We've got 10 laps to go, and I hope Yeltek gets past Brownie, because this will be good enough for him. But I don't think he's going to have a go just yet, because these next few corners are very tricky.
Yeah, very tight, very tricky, and no space at all for him to even try and do that. I mean, we saw earlier Martin G, who did a beautiful overtake on Falsetti, really sold him the fake and then just went round, and that was it. Jobs are good. And Yeltek obviously not really in a position to be able to try that. He's not close enough just yet, but he is just within that DRS range. He's actually slowly reeling Brownie in. If he can keep the gap how it is right now, then yeah, easily he's going to be in a position where he can go for the DRS. He's not necessarily going to be able to do the attack, although he brought that gap right down now. He's right on the back of Brownie. Brownie making mistakes there through that corner. This is going to give Yeltek the opportunity now to slipstream, DRS him all the way down the home straight. Needs to make sure that his final corners are very tidy, and it is. Brownie runs just a touch wide, but this is Yeltek slipstreaming through now. Mode 4 on the ERS, and the wing wide open here means he will take P9 away from Brownie. And Brownie, is that Brownie in the pits?
Yeah, that's Brownie in
Brownie's
the pits. Okay. He's only been on those mediums for 3 laps, so was there an incident between him? I don't know. Yeah, it is. His front wing changed. So he must have banged a wall somewhere or got caught in something, I don't know. We won't know until the end of the race, sadly. So that, I think, is Brownie is going to start to catch up, but he's got medium runners behind him and in front of him, so he's going to have a very difficult end to the race. But we have seen weird things happen before, and surprises as well, but he's going to have a tough time to try and get into the points. Meanwhile, Gooby set the fastest lap, so he's already stealed a point from all the top 10 at the moment, which is a good tactic, I must say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Yeltek is in a position now where he is the fastest of those that started on the hard compound tyres by a good margin as well. He's really, really out there. The thing to think about, though, is that Yeltek now is having to catch up to the back of Beaker. He's already done that. He's now got himself into a DRS range of him, and he's not that far off of just chilling. So he will be in a position where he can attack, and everybody in front of him is on the hard compound tyres. So as long as Yeltek doesn't make a mistake, as long as he keeps it clean enough, I think we're going to see him climb a fair few places. I think P6 might actually be on the table for him here.
Yep, and he's already gained, I think, a few temps that sector already, and he's absolutely flying around this straight here, and he's already in DRS of Beaker, but I think he's a bit too further back to make the move on this occasion. But maybe in the next DRS straight in turn 3 is where you can see Yeltek really start to come alive. So we will just see what happens with the battle between Beaker and Yeltek. Just look at how much time he's gained in that corner alone. So he's going to get more grip going into turn 2 and then turn 3. Beaker's lost DRS to just chilling, so he's not going to gain advantage on that. So what is Yeltek going to do here? Is he going to try and challenge to the inside or to the outside? He's going to try going for the line that he wants to, and Beaker, I think, manages to defend. I knew where he was going, so I think Beaker just about holds on, but Yeltek is still charging up though. He knows he's on newer tyres. He knows that he wants to get past him, and he knows he doesn't want to get holed up. So the sooner he gets past Beaker, the sooner he can challenge his next victims. Just chilling and third.
Yeah, it's really close between these drivers. And again, same situation as we saw earlier when Falsetti was defending up there in P2. Oh, Beaker's made a mistake. Big crash there. Yoltek manages to just about avoid it. I don't think he... Oh, no. Yoltek has damage. The left end plate has been taken out there. Beaker making a mistake into Castle means he will really fall apart. He's got no front wing at all. So it's going to be a limping Ferrari round back into the pits. He's going to need to really keep it steady as we go through the mini ping pong and then the actual ping pong. But realistically, you can sign Ferrari out of this race. There is no way now that they're going to get get points under their pocket. But Yoltek has been injured in this charge through the pack to see if he can deliver. I don't think it's really affecting him though.
It could have been worse. I think he's only got minor wing damage, but he'll probably go into the pits anyway just to be safe. No, he's probably not. So I think he got away with it only just. He was close to getting damage from Beaker, I think. So, yeah, I think Beaker's going slowly at the moment. I wonder if he's going to go into the pits and give up, or if he's going to go into the pits and just try and go on the soft and just get that fastest lap. I hope he gets that. I hope he goes and tries on the soft and go for the fastest lap, because at the moment I think only the reserves have got the points for Ferrari at the moment. So yeah, we want to see the full times get points, but unfortunately I think we're not going to see that this race, which is a shame.
Yeah, but he has got softs on that car at the minute. I mean, he does really have to sort of control himself and bring himself back together. He does have the opportunity to push himself up there, but Yoltek is being injured by the fact that he has that left end plate damage. He's not catching up to the back of Just Chillin', and he is actually being caught up by Copy in the Williams. So Williams are looking good, and Nixon's currently sat up there in P1, and he's 8.3 seconds clear of Yonti. So your P1 prediction is looking dead on the nose here, whereas Copy is trying to bring himself back up the placings and gain himself some extra points. He is down 3 places from when he started at the beginning of this race. Mizzo is obviously being... Oh, that was a corner cut there from Copy. That won't help him at all.
That'll probably be another warning, I think.
Yeah, he's got to keep himself together, because if he makes that mistake one more time, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up with a penalty. 3 times already. Well, twice, obviously, because he's not yet had a penalty.
No, but we're seeing. I think the only penalty we've seen out of the runners so far, because obviously we had Rainbow on lap 1, and then it was Nick Turn on lap 10. I think the others we haven't seen. As we got Copy trying to make a move past Yoltek. I think Yoltek was caught napping just a little bit as he was trying to find a way to defend from Copy. So he's going to try and see if he can try and hold on to P8 as Copy has pulled out a mega stint there. But is he going to get the jump on Yoltek going into turn 4 potentially? Yoltek covers to the inside, which he does beautifully. And I think P8 is still going to go to Yoltek.
I mean, Yoltek is pretty much going to try and just scrap to hold on to P8 now. To say he was looking like he was in a position where he could really have pushed up, and I think it wasn't even his fault, really. It was Beaker that made the mistake in Castle that took that left end plate off of Yoltek's car. He couldn't avoid him at all. He just had to try and just slip through the gap and pray that Beaker would be still buried in the wall out of the way. And yeah, unfortunately, it's just not working at all for him now. He's almost broke the DRS, though. He's actually brought himself in a position where...
No, he's out.
He's broke it.
No, oh, he's back again. They keep switching, so Copy is finding some time somehow, but is it going to be too little too late for him, as he's got 5 more laps to do it to make sure he gets past Yoltek. And the question is, I don't think Yoltek's going to get past Just Chillin', mainly because Yoltek is trying to defend from Copy. So P8 may be the best for him right now, but that will still be a very good result for the Racing Point driver. I almost called him Force India, but I didn't. So thank goodness for that.
It is a tough one to remember. It is so natural to just say Force India after all the years, obviously, that they've been in the sport. Well, a couple of years they've been in the sport. Copy though right here on the back of just Yoltek, sorry, again, but Yoltek makes a big mistake there, actually. This is going to bring Copy into the mix now. As in turn 1, you can see Copy going through the inside. Now in turn 2, he's got the inside. Yoltek is just going to have to let him go, but he does have DRS to help him try and recover this position. Yoltek does seem to be running a lot less wings than the other drivers on the track, which is why he's able to do what he's doing right now, which is going through the inside in towards turn 3. It's going to be side by side as they come through, and that's going to be nice done there. Copy's still there, ready for the inside line into towards turn 4, and I think he's going to get it back, but it's not stopping anytime soon, as again, into turn 5, Yoltek will have the inside line. I'm waiting for them to come around the corner, and there he is. So Yoltek still holds on to P8, but the time between him and just chilling is just getting bigger and bigger, and there is nothing more that we can do here for Yoltek. He just has to hold on for dear life and keep Copy behind him. When it comes to the DRS straight, he is faster, but Copy is just not able to get past him and hold on to that position.
Yep, as long as the guys are not caught napping, they should be alright. So, hopefully Yoltek just can keep Copy behind him, because otherwise Copy can... that was a big mistake from Yoltek. That's Copy has gone past him. So, I think that's another position lost, I think. So, Copy made the decision to go past him a little bit earlier than we thought we would, because of Yoltek's mistake. And that's now Yoltek down into P9, and he's already lost massive time. He is struggling just a little bit. And I think he's gonna find a really hard time on these final couple of laps. He hasn't even got DRS, and he's going on to into the pit, and he's gonna go on fit the soft tyres, and he's not even gonna get into the points, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if he does, it's going to be a miracle. It's going to be so difficult. He's going for the softs. He's got no choice. The wing damage as well, obviously having to be replaced, means he does have to wait quite a while in the pit lane. Now dropped to P13. Won't lose to P14, as Hazard is just a bit too far back for anything to change there. Oh, never mind. Actually, there he is. There's Hazard now. So Yoltek and Hazard are actually going to be pretty close together, but Yoltek, who had a really solid race throughout the majority, is now in a position where he's fallen right the way down. But we cannot take our eyes away from the rest of the drivers further up the field. As you can see, Fossetti is there with Brownie in 11th and 12th place. Yes, this is not for a points position, as Fossetti goes for an inside move and it doesn't work out for him. And Brownie doesn't get injured by it at all, whereas Fossetti loses the back end, catches it and keeps himself out of the wall, no doubt about it. But he is in a position now where that is going to be a big time loss for him. He's going to have to just try his best to keep on going and pull himself back together.
Yeah, he is doing well to go back, but mistakes like that is definitely going to cost him, and that is why Shadows and Dust, I think, is benefit from that, and having a trouble-free race as well. So that is really going to help him as much as we can. So 3 more laps to go. Not much battles happening at the front, but quite a lot of battles happening for the back, not really for points, and we still see Hazard and Yoltek still fighting for position. Yoltek's tyres, I think Yoltek's going to try and get past his lap, so really he's got to get past Hazard really soon if he wants to do that. And the moment the person that's got the fastest lap is Beaker, so...
Yeah, and they're the only drivers that actually... Oh, sorry, there's another driver as well, Gooby. So Gooby, Yoltek, and Beaker, they're the only ones who've got the fastest in the 141s. Here comes Yoltek now, down the home straight. These two were racing against each other on the time trial board just a few days ago in the simulation room, but now they are racing physically on the track. And Yoltek, keeping the trend true to his name, he is ahead now of Hazard. Obviously, he does have the softer compound tyres, so we're being a little bit unfair. However, Yoltek is now in 13th place and pushing hard to try and bring himself up onto Fossetti.
That was almost another slide. That was close from Yoltek.
Yeah, just a tad. He almost put himself in the wall again, and that had been more damage lost. I mean, that's the thing about this track. It just takes a little mistake where you can lose an end plate. You lose one end plate, and you're going to lose another end plate. You lose another end plate, and you're in a position where you're going to end up losing the race.
Yep, and that's not where you want to be, and especially where points are at stake. And don't forget, this season of Rwagnation League is longer than last season. Obviously, last season was shorter due to the new F1 2019 game coming out a few months earlier than we were expecting, but they have a little bit more of a chance to get some more points this season, have a little bit, so they can afford to have a few scrappy races, but not a lot really. I think Shadow and Dust, I think, has just lost it somewhere, not quite sure who. Is he struggling on those hards?
He's backed off. Look, if you look at his throttle bar, he's not pushing at all. I think he's had enough of his race. His tyres are pretty dead. Does he have a puncture? Oh, he's got a puncture.
Oh,
his rear left is punctured.
Left. Oh,
that's
no.
what his problem is. He's trying to keep himself together. So Shadows and Dust just taking it a little bit too far on those hard compound. I mean, he did have to pit early on, but we can see that he just took it too far for him. P14 is where he is right now. He's likely going to hold on to P14 as Beaker is just a bit too far back for him to really capitalize. There he is, actually. Oh, big wobble there from Shadows and Dust. He's managed to keep himself out of the wall, but Yoltek with more disaster and drama gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting again, and that now means that even if he passes
his lap.
He also got a penalty.
Oh, right, did he? Oh, sorry. And he's also in the battle with
Falsetti there. Yeah.
As he got past Falsetti, yep, he did.
Yeah, cleanly enough as well, actually. I thought it was going to be an issue for him through that sector, but no, he's kept it together. Still keeping himself going. Shadows and Dust is in the pits now, is managing to actually get his car there. Falsetti and Yoltek will be scrapping throughout this lap. Falsetti is on 11-lap-old mediums, but actually, looking further up the field, we're actually seeing a battle going on now for P3. Buemels is within DRS range of Jorn, and we've seen what Buemels can do in this situation. This is actually going to be a really good sort of pace from him. I think we might actually see a battle for P3 on the final lap.
Yeah, we would, as Jorn was trying to move out the way from the really slow Haas of Shadows and Dust, which might have compromised him a little bit. As I think also he's trying to get a little bit of heat into his tyres as well. But it looks like we could see a spicy end between Buemels and Jorn for the final podium spot, because it will mean everything to them. They've tried so hard this race, and they both deserve recommendation. Mizzo too. Mizzo has pulled a really good performance. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to catch up to Buemels again, but Mizzo should definitely be commended for his performance. But Buemels is managing to perform under pressure, and can he perform one last time under pressure when it counts, with only 1.5 laps to go? In my opinion, I think he can.
Yeah, absolutely. Jorn has driven an exceptional Baku Grand Prix today. I want to see this more often from him, because he has had the pace, especially in the qualifier. He was really quick in the qualifier. However, the person that's chasing him, Buemels, has been exceptional in 2019. He is right on the back now of Jorn, but now is a predicament for Buemels to think about. If he passes Jorn here, he will have to worry about DRS from Jorn on the next lap, which is the final lap. So Jorn might have the opportunity to take the position back from him and get the podium. Jorn realistically needs to think about this and work out, do I want to let him past anyway? He's gone defensive on the inside, but realistically, it's nothing more than just giving him that position, letting Buemels go. Jorn is right on the back of him now as we come up towards turn 2. It needs to be a good exit from Jorn if he's going to try and take the position back from him on this lap. Otherwise, he's going to have to wait for the home straight. We are on the final lap. Race leader Nikton has gone through turn 3, is very cozily ahead, does have the 3-second time penalty, but it's not going to affect him. However, it's all eyes locked on this P3 spot, as Jorn could very easily take this.
Yep, he's not giving up, and don't forget, the race is not over till the checkered flag falls, and if any one of those drivers make a mistake, that can ruin all 26 laps of hard craft and action, really. So I want these guys to be battling really hard, and hopefully they won't make too many mistakes as much as possible as well. So, and also Buemels getting a bit of time to Yonti, but I don't think that's going to be enough. So Jorn's just got to find the time. Oh, that was close.
Buemels got wing damage.
Has he?
Buemels on the exit of Castle damaged his right end plate, so there is no end plate on the right side for Buemels. I want to just get that confirmed. Yeah, I've just seen it. There is no end plate on the right hand for Buemels, which now means Jorn is right here on the back. We need to come back to that. Yeah, Just Chillin' is out of this race, but look at Jorn now. This is it. Yeah, Nick 10 will take the race win. We know this, and it looks like Yonte will take P2, but Jorn is in a position here where he has to commit. He has to give everything here in order to get back onto Buemels. DRS range is there. The wing is going to be open, but I think he might be too little too late. As we come up to the final stretch, it's going to be close now, as Jorn is pushing as hard as he can, but it will be Buemels who crosses the line in P3. Jorn takes a very close P4, but there's still battle going on as Zerd is coming up against Mizzo now as they come through on the home straight, and Zerd will gain that position on Mizzo. P5 is going to go to Zerd. Mizzo taking 6th place, with Copy taking 7th. Gooby will eventually come across the line in 8th, and Yoltek does get himself back into the points position, but P9 is where he's going to sit.
What an excellent race. So much action happening from start to finish. And possibly one of the cleanest Baku races that I have ever seen. I was expecting more carnage, more contact. But it just goes to show these drivers have a lot of respect for each other. So I got to commend. And the only penalties that were in game were only a few. There wasn't a lot. Nick Turn got one, Rainbow got one, and I think another person got one as well. No one else. So, well done to these guys. If this happens for the rest of the season, then we are going to be in for a very close battle. I'm quite surprised, to be honest. I thought Baku will be penalty central, but obviously not. But Nick Turn takes the win. Very well deserved, obviously, and he benefited from the restart, and I was able to make the soft to hards work, which is literally impossible for other people, me included. I find the soft to hards difficult on this game, so I don't know how Nick Turn does it.
Yeah, well, it's consistency, isn't it? That's one thing you can always count on at Nick Turn. He does have that level of consistency. So, something else to remember though is that yes, he did cross the line, and yes, he did take P5 physically on the track, but that 5-second time penalty he got earlier for the collision he had with Buemels will be added to him, so it does mean he will lose that place, and Mizo will gain P5 as a result. And considering where he started at the beginning of this Grand Prix due to that qualifying ban, he's done a really, really good job of bringing himself up there. But the question I have to ask you, Jess, probably the most important question of the day for you is, who's the driver of the day?
Got to be Brammel's, without a shadow of a doubt, as he's been involved in quite a few battles, managed to gain some positions on the track. He was committed. He wasn't giving up with every battle he was doing, and even though some of the collisions it wasn't his own fault, but he was able to challenge on even with that right end plate damage. So yeah, I'll have to give it to Brammel's.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I agree. I think absolutely, Buemels deserved it. He did really, really good job to get himself into the position he was in, especially after being rotated by Zerd earlier on in the race. However, here is the rundown at the end of that Grand Prix. And Nick Turn does take the race win with 25 points to his pocket, and Yonti will take a very good, solid P2. Buemels comes across in third place after the, like I say, the incident and the really close battle he had with Jorn, who does very, very closely come behind in fourth place. Zerd takes fifth before the penalty is applied. He will lose that place to Mizo, who will eventually take fifth from him. So it will be fifth and sixth, Mizo and Zerd. Copy takes seventh, Gooby in eighth, with Brownie taking ninth, and Yolte bringing himself just within the points in 10th place. Best of the rest is Hazard in 11th place, with Falsetti taking 12th. We did lose a fair few other drivers, but we did manage to keep Beaker in this race. He is going to take 13th place, and it's not necessarily going to be a point, but he did take fastest lap, which obviously it's not awarded to anyone, but he took it away from those in the top 10, which is crucial if he's going to try and pull it back later on in this in the Drivers' Championship. The DNFers were Just Chilling, Shadows and Dust, Martin G, and Rainbow, and I have heard exactly what happened to Martin G. He was free.
That was
that is for tuning in. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me has been Jess Games 95 for commentating with me at the very last second, and also for stewarding, because you are very much involved in this actor of it. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week where we come back for the Spanish Grand Prix. But if you want to stick around, we are going to do some open lobbies. And yeah, I'm just going to need to set my wheel up. So be right back.